So those are some of the things we're fighting at a national level right now. I won't go through all the state stuff with you today. I'll come back and do that at another time. But one of the things that we're likely to see, I don't know if you saw the governor's May revise yesterday. They're getting a couple billion extra dollars, and so rather than continue to cut spending, what does he do? He actually proposed, if you looked at it, he proposed a 5% increase in spending yesterday. He still needs your taxes. He still needs you to pass a bill that says, yeah, you can continue to tax us for the next 5 years at the temporary level, the supposedly temporary level that we're already at. But he doesn't want to actually cut spending. He wants to increase spending based on his May revise yesterday. By the way, one of the things in there, if you noticed, he's closing 70 parks. The only one in our area that got hit is Mount Palomar down here. He's closing 70 parks, but not laying off any of the personnel that work there. We're wondering, how in the world are you going to save any money? If you just close the parks, you're not getting revenue from people going to the parks, yet you're keeping all the people in place. That is the overhead of running the parks to begin with. Some just little things. You just ask, how is that happening? But you can't ask that question when you're talking to the governor. So, but one of the things you will most likely see is something that we defeated 4 times last year. It's already come up once this year, but it's Senate Leader Darrell Steinberg's pet project, and that's what we refer to as the accelerated tax payment schedule, which would impact all of you. As independent contractors, they would collect, every time you get a commission check, they would collect 3% right up front from you. Now, you may get that money back next year when you file your taxes, but you're not going to have it this year because obviously the state knows how to spend that better than you do. So that will accelerate, and not just on realtors as independent contractors, but at every independent contractor out there, your hairdresser, your nail person, your attorney, anybody who's an independent contractor out there would get dinged 3% every time you get a paycheck. Not only is it infeasible and stupid because they have to give that money back next year and dig an even deeper hole, but the problem is it creates a tremendous amount of overhead for every one of your brokers, every escrow company, title company, and everybody who issues checks out there to police that, send that money in, make sure everything goes to the right place. So it's just a horrendous nightmare, but Darrell Steinberg loves it. And so it will come up again. And according to our state chief lobbyist, there's probably a better than even chance that we will not be able to defeat that this time around because the state is in deep, deep weeds, and that's one of the many solutions that they're looking at, along with a tax on services. So not only would you get an accelerated withholding tax, but your real estate transaction would become one of the highest tax transactions in the state. Because not only would they tax your services as a realtor, they would tax escrow, they would tax title, they would tax home inspection, they would tax home warranty. Anything to do with the real estate transaction, which is a service today, would become taxable. So once again, where's that cost going to hit? It's going to hit you, it's going to hit your prospective buyers. So the cost of buying a property will simply shoot up to accommodate that, and that brings more and more people out of the market. So once again, some very scary things out there. I know most people don't seem to be in favor, and certainly a lot of folks are not in favor of a $40 dues increase to combat this. But I assure you, it's scary out there. And there's more and more stuff going on. You probably read the governor wants to pass a bill that would defer some of the ability to raise taxes from the state level down to the city and local county level. So the state wouldn't be able to raise the taxes, but your county would be able to, or your city would be able to. Folks, if that happens, you're going to see all kinds of fun stuff come out. I talked to some of my counterparts around the state, point of sale stuff. San Diego just passed a massive business license fee that applies to every transaction. Every transaction you do in the city of San Diego. It doesn't even matter if you're licensed in the city of San Diego. Obviously, if you're licensed in the city of San Diego, you have to pay that business license fee. But if you do a transaction in the city of San Diego, you're supposed to send them the equivalent of that business license fee. Good luck collecting that from a lot of out-of-area people, but they just passed it nonetheless, and it's fairly sizable. They're doing that in more and more cities around the state. So watch out for that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff we're fighting. I'll cut it today. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer. Yes, Jerry?
Your statement a while ago about second properties being involved.
Yes.
Does that include rental properties or simply vacation properties?
We are That's not clear yet. That's one of the debates that's going on. In fact, I was at a meeting just before I came here, and that was the same question that came up. Does that involve, if you have an investment property, does that involve that? And if it involves an investment property as a home, where do you draw the line if you own an apartment complex, for example? So that's a debate that's still taking place. It's still unclear how they would apply that. The indication when we were back there is that it would apply to second homes and investment properties. But we're not sure yet because people own a lot of investment properties. And, but in addition to the mortgage interest deduction, of course, they're also looking at the property tax deduction, which would ding all that as well. So that's still a debate that's ongoing.
Thank you.
You bet. Yes, sir.
In reference to that business transaction fee?
Yes.
Can you expand on that and the percent?
It varies city to city. It's not necessarily a percent. Usually it's a fixed amount. And right now, all the cities have that, but typically it's paid by your broker. It's a business license tax for your broker, and they all pay that. This would drop the level down to all of you paying that as well. Our argument to the cities is that even though you're independent contractors, by definition, you are technically an employee. You can't work on your own without, as a realtor, you can't work on your own without being under a broker. Your paycheck comes from your broker. Your broker has the ability to hire and fire you, okay? So yes, they are a business entity and they are responsible for a business license tax. You, as an independent contractor or as an employee of that company, should not be liable for that business license tax. But they vary anywhere from, I think Canyon Lake has one in place that's been there a while, $25 to San Diego's is something like $125 for the first year, and it escalates after that to $225 and so forth. And again, that's for individual agents.
For each realtor sale, do you have to pay that?
No, it's if you're in business, there, if you're a realtor in the city of San Diego, you're going to get billed for $125. If you're a Temecula realtor and you happen to do a transaction in San Diego, the theory is they will bid you either for the full $125 or some prorated version of that. And again, that's unclear because, the argument is what percentage of your business do you derive from your sales in San Diego? So they're debating right now, do we bill them the full $125 or do we bill them some prorated version of that, or how exactly is that going to be handled? Again, it's one of those things that they pass and then they go back afterwards and go, yeah, geez, there's probably a couple of loopholes in here we didn't exactly figure out when we were doing it. But, so there's no clear answer, but yeah, it's generally not a proportion, but it's an annual fee. Hal, you got a question?
It's actually, it's not a question. On the radio this morning, in reference to the state, which they're trying to get some legislation through to put the counties able, or the cities able to collect taxes. One of the things that they were talking about is you paying a tax to go to your doctor or your dentist. Yeah. That's not bad.
That's the service tax portion of it, which would apply to, like I say, realtors, but anybody who is a service out there. So yeah, if you go to your doctor, your dentist, anything that is non-taxable right now, your hairdresser, your nail person, not only would they be liable for that 3%, but you would also be taxed on that as a service. So yeah, fun and games. Yes, sir.
Just a quick one. This $40 increase, we've already received the $47 political contribution from SRCAR. This will be on top.
Yes.
Plus the 47.
Yeah.
And it's $87 in the last few months.
It's 49 plus 40. Yeah. So yeah, it's $89 for Californians. And as a result, we debated that with them. Because we said, we've just done that because of the situation we're going through out here. We have, honestly, when you go across the country, there are a lot of places that really, they either don't have the problems or they just ignore the problems, or there are states in this country that have fewer realtor members of the state organization than of you sitting in this room right now. So they either don't know or don't care about the problems that are going on there. But when you have a big state like California, yeah, we stepped up last year, and so our argument was, well, we've already done that. This is kind of a double hit for our members. And they said, yeah, we understand. and they may look at something, or the state may look at something, but at this point, that's the way it is. So, yeah. Anything else? Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.